Coming up on Grady Newsource, we have a special program for you today. Normally we tell you about the local problems, but today is all about solutions. Grady Newsource reporters listened to people in our community about their issues, and then they looked for solutions. Get ready to hold on tight and enjoy the ride to see what they found in Barrow, Athens, Jackson, Oconee, and Madison counties. Good evening and welcome to the Grady Newsource Solutions Journalism Special. I'm Sarah Sims. Tonight we're taking a journey around Northeast Georgia where you'll hear about the most important issues affecting our communities and how people are taking action to solve them. We start our show tonight in Barrow County where a school shooting claimed the lives of 2 students and 2 teachers in September. Here at Grady Newsource, the Barrow County Beat Group's first assignment was covering the shooting and its aftermath. They've continued to follow this story over the past few months. Some of these Barrow reporters join us live today with an update on the school district and its approach to new safety concerns. What did authorities in the school district do right after the school shooting?
Hi, Sarah. Within hours, the school district took immediate action, adding additional security measures across campuses. They also closed down all schools for several weeks, allowing staff and students to process their emotions. The swift response showed both a commitment to find solutions preventing such tragedies from happening again.
And how did your team go about reporting on such a tragic event, and what considerations were at the top of your minds during the coverage?
Covering a story as heartbreaking as this required us to be especially thoughtful in our approach. First and foremost, we prioritized getting the facts right while respecting those affected. We understood that every detail mattered, not only for accuracy, but also for respecting the people involved. Our team worked with care to balance the community's needs for information with a commitment to sensitivity. We wanted to be there in a way that helped inform and support healing.
And what was the community's response after the school shooting at Appalachia High School? What did you observe while reporting in the days that followed?
In the days after, we witnessed a community grappling immense sadness, but also coming together in unity. Many community members were vocal about the need for stronger safety measures, and we saw touching displays of solidarity, vigils, gatherings, and calls for change to honor those affected.
The Barrow County team, including myself, Riley, and Elizabeth Hunter, spent the semester speaking and listening to the people who went through this ordeal. Through our reporting, we found a solution that can and has saved lives. Let's take a look.
I was a product of the Barrow County school system, so I went to Yargo, right next door, Haven Morris, and then Appalachia. So I never really thought about security, but as my kids get older, that's something that we're thinking about putting them in schooling, and I'm just really concerned now.
The Appalachia High School shooting, which claimed the lives of 2 students and 2 teachers, has shaken the Barrow County community. While first responders acted quickly, many parents and students say fear still lingers, and some wonder if more could have been done to prevent the tragedy.
It definitely is something that you shouldn't have to be worried about, but unfortunately, it's the day and age that we live in. We do need to think about these kind of things and do what we can and educate ourselves to hopefully prevent this happening again in the future.
Now, district leaders are working to restore trust and ensure schools are prepared for any situation. Governor Brian Kemp has allocated over $115 million in school safety grants, providing $50,000 to every public school to address security needs.
We received some grants from the state, safety grants, and therefore we were able to finance it through both our state grant money, but also some local money from our county also contributed to the purchase of Centegix.
In neighboring Oconee County, where officials adopted Centegix crisis alert system in 2019, the district's longer experience with the technology offers valuable insights. The system equips staff with discrete badges that can send alerts directly to law enforcement with a simple push of a button, a proactive approach to school safety.
It works off a button on the teacher's badge, so every teacher has a badge, and if they press the button a certain number of times, then it'll set off an alert. and it knows where what school the alert comes from and where within the school.
That alert then goes straight to the Sheriff's Department Central Dispatch, allowing them to quickly direct first responders to the precise location where help is needed. Officials say this real-time communication ensures faster responses, giving schools a crucial layer of safety.
Once we had schools starting to use it, it spread. In Georgia alone, we're now 85% of all the schools. In Florida, it's probably 50% of the schools. Alabama, 40 to 50%. Nevada, we're at 90-something% of all the schools.
Founder Daniel Dooley cautions that without proper training, users may compromise the tool's life-saving potential.
Practice, practice, practice. That way, when a situation happens, it's second nature. But if you don't really have leadership from the top pushing that training down, making it important, not just our system, but getting in your protocols, doing all the things, where it's second nature, then you're going to have some issues.
This highlights a challenge districts face, balancing technology investments with proper training, all while staying within budget.
Strategic is one piece of the puzzle, right? So it takes an entire plan and strategy to put together to make a school, a building, a community safe.
With new funding on the way, both Barrow and Oconee counties are finalizing their safety plans. Barrow County says after seeing the benefits of Centegix firsthand, they will push training harder than ever in their schools.
We think if there's anything positive that could come from our tragedy, it is that as many of these tools that you can have, as many layers as you can have to your school safety, that you hope you never need, but that if you do, you know, they save lives, and Centegix saves lives.
Georgia schools are taking steps to create safer environments, but as recent events have shown, it will take continuous effort to ensure the safety of students and staff.
Anytime I pass somebody who has like a blue and gold ribbon, like I just still get chill bumps. So it's still very prevalent in the community.
What an important story, and just thank you so much for your hard work, Barrow reporters. School shootings are sadly all too common, and in fact, another shooting happened just this weekend at Tuskegee University in Alabama. But shootings don't only happen in schools, they can happen anywhere. Our Athens-Clarke County team has more on solutions for gun violence here in the Classic City.
We've definitely heard shots. I live in the east side.
There's always like the really tragic incidents where like a little kid somehow just finds a loaded gun.
I mean, I have friends that are dead from gun violence.
After the shooting at Appalachia High School, less than 30 miles away from Athens.
After the tragic shooting at Barrow County, more information on a past investigation.
For the 2 teachers and 2 students that died, as well as the 9 people that were injured.
The conversation around safety has intensified. In 2022, over 48,000 people in America died from gunshots. That's about 1 death every 11 minutes. These incidents of gun violence have led community leaders and residents to talk about solutions.
Guns are way too easy to get.
You should be able to protect yourself. You shouldn't have to be a victim.
The more we can treat these problems as healthcare crises and look for healthcare solutions and economic solutions rather than treating them as like issues of crime and problems of character, I think we'll have more success.
It's a responsibility of the gun owner to safely put their guns where no one can get to them.
We wanted to find out what it took to legally buy a gun here in Georgia, so I'm here now in the parking lot of a local gun shop to buy one myself. Right now it is 2:18 in the afternoon, so let's find out what it takes to buy a gun and how long it takes me.
560-50.
Okay, cool. I am back. I purchased the gun and it is currently 2:43 in the afternoon. I want to say it probably took about 3 minutes whenever we got back in the car to get everything set up. So yeah, I would say about 20 minutes to buy a firearm in Georgia. But not all guns are obtained legally like mine. The Athens-Clarke County Police Department has noticed a concerning trend.
They can't go to a gun store. They're either too young or they're a felon and they can't get it. So what they do is they resort to going into parking garages or places where there's lots of vehicles and hoping to get at least 1 or 2 guns out of car. We see lots of juveniles with guns that are 14, 15 years old.
Youth are often at the top of the gun violence discussion. Allison Warren, Director of Clinical Training and Youth Specialty Services at Advantage Behavioral Health, says mental well-being can be a key factor in fostering a safer community.
We all can help because it only takes one trusted adult to make a difference in a child's life.
Advantage BHS has youth services like Apex and Remix. These programs focus on crisis intervention, a more effective and consistent way to help kids and teens learn to deal with their emotions.
People who know how to handle strong emotions are healthier people and thus less violent people.
Advantage BHS teams up with schools in Clark County to bring in specialized mental health counselors. Apex provides therapy for students facing challenges that affect their learning and well-being.
When they're engaged in productive, structured type of activities, there's less opportunity for them to be vulnerable for looking for connection.
Currently serving 12 schools across Madison, Oglethorpe, and Clark counties, Advantage BHS also offers mental health training for educators and the community to better support youth.
So anything that makes mental health care easier and more accessible to families will, I hope, be a ripple effect into preventing gun violence.
Charles Bullock, a political science professor at UGA, says gun safety legislation can be important, but he agrees that mental health services will be beneficial in preventing gun violence.
For the gun violence we've seen in schools going back now a quarter of a century is more mental health. That probably would help. I doubt that would be the end all for what we've been seeing in schools.
Mental health initiatives like Advantage BHS are building stronger connections and a safer environment for youth.
But I do think that we can proactively get to a place where we are hearing from kids that they're not doing well and can get ahead of when they have completely found themselves in crises.
Great story. I am now joined by Keisha Chestnut, one of the Athens Beat reporters. Gun violence is a very complex issue. How did your team land on mental health as the main solution?
Well, thank you for having me. Me, myself, Christian Andrade, Savannah Hernandez, and Noah Bice felt that the story was really important, especially after the shooting at Appalachia High School. When I interviewed experts, it became clear that there is not one solution to the problem. Like you said, it's very complex. But they all agreed mental wellness plays a vital role in reducing gun violence in our communities. Fran Thompson, one of our experts I spoke with, said emotional regulation is something Clark County schools are trying to teach their children, giving them tools to handle those emotions without resulting to violence, especially gun violence. And it can also help these students control their emotions as they get older.
I can totally understand you. And so how can Clark County School ensure stability and safety in these programs?
Well, children finding a trusted adult is highly important. It's all about the connection. There obviously is a gang issue in Athens, and our youth, as they get older, they are affected by peer influence. Going back to what Fran said, she says the pay for some of these workers is so low that some people don't stay in those positions long enough to form lasting bonds with these children. Kids need that longevity in the relationship in order to see these results.
Thank you and your team for y'all's hard work on this story. Coming up next,
I think we're seeing a lot more people needing the work that we do and needing the help. We're hoping to, at some point, be able to serve as many people as we're getting in the county.
We'll turn to Jackson County to learn more about an issue on many new homeowners' minds and what's being done about it. Don't go away.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers. He connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far. A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna. Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Welcome back to our Solutions Journalism Show. We'll now turn to our team in Jackson County who looked into an organization that is trying to solve a nationwide issue just at the local level. Reporter Ryan Lynch is live in the newsroom to tell us more. Ryan?
Thanks, Sarah. Like the rest of the United States, Jackson County is facing an affordable housing crisis. My team and I looked into a housing assessment done by the Microlife Institute, and we noticed two trends. First, high-income households can pay more than lower-earning ones, limiting housing options for them. The second trend we notice is a housing mismatch, or the difference between what people need from their home and what is actually available. Jackson County's population has grown by almost 50% in the past 9 years. The county has a current population of about 89,000. By 2050, the population is projected to grow past 120,000. So, with all these people moving into Jackson County, officials will need to find a way to house them and for affordable prices. Habitat for Humanity is one organization that is trying to combat this problem. Habitat, founded right here in Georgia, works both in Jackson County and in countries around the world to provide people with a home and their first solution to this issue. Joined by my reporting partners Tori Newman, Colin Miller, and Melanie Levy, we took a deep dive into Habitat's life-changing work here in Jackson County. Take a look.
We've got a house over here they can't sell right now that's been on the market for probably about 8 months. Wow. And they moved out in the middle of the night, left furniture and everything. They just left.
Jim Keefe is one of many people in Jackson County who has seen firsthand the effects of both a national and local problem, a lack of affordable housing. People across the United States are struggling to find and finance homes within their budgets.
Affordability has been a constant topic in here. It's something that we're trying to conquer.
One of the main reasons for this issue is the county's rapid growth. People are flocking east from metropolitan areas such as Gwinnett, making Jackson the fourth fastest growing county in the nation. According to a study conducted by Jackson County planning personnel, there are limited housing options for low-income people. Now, locals are questioning how the county is planning to keep up with their needs. One organization that is providing an answer is Habitat for Humanity.
We do critical home repairs, rent builds and rent repairs, and our biggest thing, which is our homeownership program.
Habitat for Humanity is an international nonprofit that provides affordable housing for families in need, and their Jackson County chapter is doing just that. The organization selects families through an application process during which they must agree to put in 300 hours of work building their house with other volunteers. Once it's been completed, they receive a 30-year mortgage with 0% interest. Not exactly a free home, but much more affordable than the alternative.
We're just trying to figure out how can we touch as many lives as possible.
And for Caden Cox, Habitat for Humanity touched his family's life just last year.
Before I closed on the house, my second born, he had passed away. So it's like I lost something, but then I gained something at the same time. And they were there for me also as support when my son passed. So I really, we were like this. They're like family to me.
Cox was lucky enough to receive help from Habitat for Humanity, but this isn't the case for everyone in need, like low-income renters. UGA professor Jermaine Durham believes Habitat's model only scratches the surface of the issue.
Many renters face the gravest issues when it comes to lack of affordable housing options.
There need to be over 200,000 more rental homes built in Georgia to accommodate low-income renters, according to a study done by the National Low-Income Housing Coalition. Jackson County Habitat for Humanity does not currently provide homes for rent, just ownership, but the Athens area chapter does. Harry says that in the near future, they may expand to helping renters as well. But for now, Habitat for Humanity will continue to serve Jackson County with the resources they do have.
Development is causing all kinds of new problems, and Jackson County is dealing with a housing crisis. But down the road in Oconee County, traffic and construction are a major concern. As someone who worked on this next story, I saw these traffic problems firsthand. Our team of Oconee County reporters, including Juliana Russ, Nigel Whittington, Ethan Wright, and myself, found a well-rounded solution, literally.
In Oconee County, sudden growth and commercial development is reshaping a small community.
I lived here my whole life. I was born and raised here. This county is not what it was when I was little.
Specifically, people are feeling that growth on the roads.
Traffic within the last couple years has gotten absolutely insane.
Traffic has been a tremendous change. It takes us significantly longer to get places.
It is always very risky. It's not very safe.
The same construction projects frustrating drivers on their daily commute could provide a long-term solution to the county's traffic problems. Roundabouts are especially useful for both traffic efficiency and safety.
When you go to a roundabout, you have the yield signs, but usually it's free-flowing. It keeps traffic flowing at a reduced speed, which reduces impact.
I think overall roundabouts are safer, a traffic calming mechanism. Another benefit is they regulate the flow of traffic further down the street.
According to the Federal Highway Administration, roundabouts lead to a 35% reduction in all crashes, a 76% reduction in injuries, and a 90% reduction in fatalities. 4 roundabouts have been built in Oconee County so far, funded largely by TSPLOST. 4 more roundabout projects are on the horizon. Chairman of the Oconee County Commission, John Daniels, said crashes have already been reduced as a result of these roundabout projects.
All the roundabouts we've had only one accident in our roundabout, and that was a state trooper who went through there too fast.
Community members say they appreciate roundabouts and the way they keep traffic moving.
I actually like roundabouts because it kind of makes it quicker than stop signs at each side.
I think they're really beneficial when people are able to go in them and keep moving and it doesn't bottleneck the traffic where it usually does.
When the county's first roundabout was introduced in 2018, there was some initial community pushback.
The first one was very tough. We had a lot of pushback, and actually, I never would have thought we'd ever have a roundabout in Oconee County.
Well, when they first were introduced, I felt they were a hassle.
Right now it scares me because since some drivers don't follow the rules, I'm like, could I get into an accident even if I do follow the rules?
I think roundabouts are good if people know how to use them. When they don't know how to use them, they can lead to some confusion about who goes and when they go.
Oconee County currently has a page on its website dedicated to educating community members about how to use roundabouts.
You know, there's always going to be people concerned, especially in more rural areas where roundabouts are relatively new to some of these residents. And so it's just a matter of getting the point across and just allowing them to understand that over time, it's going to get better.
There's some initial investment beyond maintaining a traffic light intersection, but over time it pays off with greater efficiency, and I think once people get to learn how to use them, it's a more efficient overall for traffic flow in a variety of scenarios.
As these roundabouts and other road construction projects continue into 2025, Oconee County residents will have to trust the process and be patient.
There's no way to get around the pain that we have to go through to get something better.
Now that we know a little bit more about roundabouts, I'm going to toss it over to my colleague Ethan Wright for a little practical advice. Ethan?
Hey Sarah, as Georgia's cities continue to grow, so does traffic, and with it comes the risk of accidents. So to make roads safer, many communities are turning to roundabouts, hoping to ease congestion and cut down on serious crashes. So while using a roundabout may sound simple in theory, they can be difficult to figure out on the fly, especially if you've never seen one before. So in a short explanation and a graphic, here's how they work. Drivers turning right will enter the circle and leave through the first exit, making sure to yield to other drivers already occupying the circle. Drivers looking to continue straight will go halfway around the circle and then leave through the second exit. And if you're looking to head left, you'll go about 3/4 of the way around and out of the third exit. I hit the roads this morning to give drivers a quick lesson on how roundabouts work and what they need to know. Check it out. So you may have seen one of these in your area or somewhere along your commute, but if you haven't, roundabouts like the one here behind me have become a very popular solution to cutting down everyday traffic. Now, these circular intersections are designed so that cars can continue moving in one direction without coming to a complete stop, and the goal is to improve traffic flow while cutting down on accidents. So now that we know their purpose, how do we use them? You can take a quick ride with me, and I'll give you a roundup on roundabouts. So instead of stop signs and traffic lights, roundabouts work by having drivers yield to cars already in the circle. Once you're in the circle, you've got the right-of-way, and this just helps things move a little bit smoother. It's fairly simple. If you're heading right, just take the first exit. Need to go straight? Go halfway around, and if you're going left, go 3/4 of the way. And hey, if you mess up completely and miss your exit, you can even go all the way around. Just remember to yield, keep right, maintain your right-of-way while in the loop, and take your exit safely. Roundabouts may seem tricky at first, but with a little practice, they make for a much safer and smoother travel.
Thanks, Ethan. Who knew roundabouts were just so simple? After the break, we're going to take you to Madison County to learn how advocacy can save lives. Don't go away.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back. We told you about solutions to school shootings, gun violence, housing crisis, and traffic, and now we turn to the challenges with mental health. Beat reporter Jackson Rowland joins us to tell us about a solution in Madison County. Jackson?
Sarah, this fall we covered the Madison community working with local officials, law enforcement, the school system, and of course the residents themselves. We found that living in a small town does have its perks. There's little traffic, everyone knows each other, and they're relatively safe. On the outside, it seems to be a simple way of life. However, there is a dark side to growing up in rural areas that often go unseen. Youth in non-urban communities tend to struggle with mental health and substance abuse more than their urban peers. A lack of access to affordable resources can present challenges for teens in these areas. So our team of reporters, Elizabeth Rice, Sydney Rainwater, and myself, worked to find out what can be done to turn these statistics into a solution. Take a look.
6.5 million people. That's 1/5 of rural Americans who struggle with mental illness in the U.S. today. Rural Americans experience higher rates of depression and suicide than people who live in urban areas, but they are less likely to access mental health care services. This isn't just the case for rural adults, but also rural youth. In Georgia, suicide is currently the second leading cause of death for those aged 10 to 24. In Madison County, that rate is twice as high as that of the state. which has raised concern for members of the community.
Because a lot of kids are like, I don't know, they're depressed and anxious, and they don't see like things getting better. How can we put joy into their lives? Excitement, passion, like, oh, you're so valuable. You can do many things in life. How do we motivate them, to really feel important in their lives?
Sherry Deacon, a family resource specialist with the state in Madison County, vouches for the importance of resources for local youth as the problems are staggering.
I'm big on resources, finding out what you would like to do, with your life, and then getting you in touch with, resources.
Although there are programs provided through the county, they aren't always accessible for teenagers who don't have transportation or feel comfortable asking for help. One potential resource that has helped rural counties across the nation is SOS, the Sources of Strength Youth Program, which aims to meet kids where they're at, in school. SOS's mission is to empower a well world through training and curriculum for youth in schools. SOS aims to prevent bullying, substance abuse, and suicide through providing community, extracurricular school programs, and mentorship. Sherry Sullivan is a teacher at Gordon Central High School in Northwest Georgia, where the SOS program has been implemented and has helped make strides in combating rural mental health and suicide in the local community. The SOS program at Gordon Central High School has been around for 16 years. Led by English teacher Sherry Sullivan, the team is making strides to combat rural mental health and suicide in their community.
So Sources of Strength here, what we do is watching to see if a kid's, posting things on social media, or, are they shutting down? Are they pushing their friends away? Are they upset a lot? Or, things going on at home that they're kind of hinting at.
SOS does come at a price. The program registration cost is $6,000 per school, with annual expenses each year after. There are grants available, though, to cover these costs. To get the program started in Madison County, it will take initiative from decision makers in the school system, such as the county superintendent, Dr. Jody Goodrow.
I don't want to turn a blind eye to anything. I mean, if it's a viable solution, something we can implement, hey, let's have a discussion about it. Let's see what it can be.
Goodrow said he would consider expanding the program to the high school. Research shows that schools with the SOS program have had a positive impact on the mental health of students. They are more likely to reach out to peers and seek healthy coping skills, among many other benefits.
We help guide them to where they need to go. So we don't fix the problems, but we help bridge where they need to go and hopefully save some lives.
Thank you to the Madison County reporters for that. Not every problem has a solution, but we found people in our communities trying their best to help where they can. Thanks for joining us tonight on this journey in search of solutions. I'm Sarah Sims. Have a great night.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
road, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
With very, very interesting solutions, very well done, wonderful anchor who we had a little glitch. He showed a lot of wit and was cool as a cucumber, got us back on track. Wonderful producer who really visualized something very innovative and interesting, different kind of treatment, and lots and lots and lots of talent all around. Really proud of you guys. But we have a special guest. I'm biased because I'm the professor and I love you. Now we have an unbiased opinion from Michael Davis, the manager of training and curriculum at the Solutions Journalism Network. So he's the pro on how we did, whether we met the solutions journalism principles, and what we did well, what we can do even better. You were there at the beginning of this journey, Michael. When I first, this is a new idea, by the way, I came up with the idea. I wasn't sure if it was going to work, so I reached out to my friend Michael. I said, take a look at my idea. And so he backed me up and he said, do it. Let's give this a try. And you met him in the beginning of this journey, and here he is again at the end. So Michael, how did we do?
Congratulations to every one of you. You have taken a giant leap forward in demonstrating what student journalists can do with solutions journalism as a springboard for storytelling. As I was watching the final moments as Sarah was signing off, I was thinking about the previous shows that we've been able to watch, and they were good and very thoughtful, and students tried very hard to live by the four essential ingredients of solutions journalism. But this broadcast was so muscularly produced. It was so watchable and so many clever ideas included in it. The ride along on the rotary, the purchase of the gun, the exquisite choices of people to interview to bring your stories alive. That wonderful anecdote about the only accident that occurred the roundabout was a state trooper going too fast. The broadcast was just filled with really interesting moments, and I was so pleased every time I saw in one of your stories the evidence and the limitations. You did a really, really good job of that. And it's hard, isn't it, to dig out the limitations to a response and to make it part of the flow of the story. But by gosh, you did it. Um, and, whether you were talking about the cost of a response or, where the money would come from going forward, you know, looking at the ways in which these responses are working, but could work better in the future. That's at the heart of solutions journalism. Um, Now, I wonder if I can ask you, how did it feel? Was there any difference in going after these stories through a solutions lens than what it has been like producing other kinds of stories? Did it feel different? Did your sources respond differently to your questions?
To still go through the process of finding our sources, talking to them about what they do, who they've helped, or a problem in their community. It was honestly, for me, it was very, very similar to producing a regular news package. The only difference I would say is just the sheer amount of people who we had to interview. Obviously, because this is a longer news segment, we had to interview more people. So I would say that is probably one of the major differences. But other than that, it was pretty comparable in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Already having a story idea in mind. I think for me that was the biggest difference because I normally try to always let my interviews and stuff narrate how stories go, whether or not regular package, but for this we really found a story and created it simply off of what people were saying, whether or not they talked about certain developments, and then at some point everyone, gosh, the traffic, because I was in a and then we found 3-minute long our story fell into place because of that. And so putting it together was very similar to how a regular news package is, finding the experts, getting the data points, and getting the B-roll alongside of that. But to me, the biggest difference was having to go out and let people talk to you to give you the story instead of already having a story idea in mind.
That's really well said. And I think there's great satisfaction in that. You know, it's one thing for us as journalists to sit around a conference room and and brainstorm ideas for stories based on our experience. It's quite another thing to go out into the community and just ask and listen and probe and get a sense of where our audience feels what they want us to report on and where they think the stories are. And I thought that it was great, that little montage of people talking about traffic. And, as I was watching, it struck me that this was an example of what we call a small slice solution story. The big pie is um, growth in a community, right? And I was thinking about the last time I was with Grady Newsource, and there were elected leaders talking about growth and the problems and pains of growth in their communities. This time around, we had people who actually live there, the residents, talk about how traffic has been increasing and how it's become a problem as the community grows. And you found this really interesting solution that a lot of communities have adopted. The traffic circles have become, especially in the South, something new. I love it that you recognized that there would be, in your audience tonight, viewers who might not have done this, or maybe even timidly have avoided them, right? And so we got into the car with your reporter, and he gave us a quick tutorial in how to navigate a traffic circle. That was just terrific. I felt like you gave so much thought to how to sell these stories visually. I thought the writing was good, and I thought the structure of the stories was really good. I don't have anything really negative to say about the broadcast. If we had accompanying text stories, let's say, on your website that could have gone beyond the 3 minute story, we might have talked about, more the costs of these um, initiatives, and what it will cost going forward to keep SOS going. You know, what is the current budget for for Habitat for Humanity in that county, and has the funding stayed the same? Is it going up? Is it going down? Is their volunteer base staying the level, or is that going up? Is that going down? There are lots of things that we could have thought of if we had, an accompanying text story on your website to go with it. But you can't do it in a 3 minute story. You can't possibly, or ever how many minutes it was, get all of that kind of information in there. And I commend you for putting the emphasis on storytelling, right? So I always say about solutions journalism, if it does nothing else, it changes the conversation in town about an issue, right? So if I'm a viewer and I'm watching that story about the ID badges that the teachers are wearing, first of all, I'm probably not aware that this technology even existed, and I'm going to be really fascinated by it, and I'm going to talk to my family about it. I'm going to say, I saw this on Grady Newsource the other night, that our schools are now providing teachers with this tool that really cuts down on the time that it takes to alert law enforcement, and it's very specific about where the alarm is coming from. What a cool idea. So at the heart of solutions journalism, I say this a lot, is you want your viewer, your listener, your reader to say, I had no idea. I had no idea this was happening, right? You're spreading information. You're educating people. And I think that that's the difference between, just doing a problem story and doing a solution story about a problem. You are opening people's eyes to what's possible and what people are trying out there in the world, and giving an accurate reflection back of how well it's working and where its shortcomings are. So I thought you did a really good job of that. Who has questions? Anybody? If you don't, I have one. Are you eager to do this again?
You went through?
Now that it's over?
Yeah, and why would you do it? What was the biggest surprise, the thing that sparked that passion to do those? Or maybe you're not passionate, but you want to do them?
I think one of the most empowering things about this was like you said, as journalists, we do report on a lot of problems in the community and some tragic things that happen. But I think probably the best part about doing this was that seeing a solution in action and kind of almost feeling empowered by it, because I feel like a lot of the time when we report on problems all the time, and I know we're spreading information about it, but sometimes it leaves you feeling a little bit powerless, like, okay, there's all these problems in the world, but like, what can I personally do about it? And I know that obviously we're not like the solution providers, like we weren't the ones doing it, but being able to spread a message about what they're doing and, you know, giving them a platform, I thought that was pretty empowering. So that was probably my biggest takeaway from this.
Yeah.
Well said, well said.
We say all the time that when you're bombarded by problem stories, you kind of pull back, you lean away. But with solution stories, you kind of lean forward and you want to know more. And so you become a very different kind of messenger in the community when you provide coverage like that. And you know, another thing that I wanted to mention was, you know, you've touched on some of the big issues of our time in this half-hour broadcast. I mean, gun and gun violence, mental health, affordable housing, you know, growth in counties. You know, these are some of the big issues, and you didn't shy away from them. You went directly toward them, and that's a credit to this news team as well. That, you know, in choosing these stories for you know, in looking for solution stories, you went after the big topics. Says a lot about you and your producers having courage and vision to go after the big stuff. Love it.
Is I feel like this kind of embodies what news is. Like, it's supposed to service the people, and just the entire process of people who are not from this county, didn't grow up in this county, going into it and finding from the people like what their issues are, and then not just saying, okay, that's cool, but actually like crafting and trying new things and finding out what solutions don't work or what things don't, like just the idea of this, like this long process of figuring out what is the solution to these issues instead of just presenting an issue, which we've done a lot through this semester, is kind of, it was just a very unique journey because you just slowly, piece by piece, see something come together, and it's kind of just cool, I guess, in a way. Like, everything we've done is just like, we find something, we report it and everything, but it really, at least for me, and I feel like for our group, it was really just like from the ground up, we just went to places with nothing but a location in mind and just straight up asked people, like, what are the issues? Like, we don't know, what are the issues? And then using all the resources that we have, like trying to find a feasible solution. So I thought that was really cool. I thought it was just like, just the essence of, I guess, what news is, just like serving the people, helping people instead of just bombarding them with, this is what's happening, this is bad, and everything like that. Like, that was really cool to me.
Yeah. You know that there's that long-held view of what we do, described as watchdogs for society, but we always say you can be watchdog and you can be a guide dog, and you know both guide dogs and watchdogs serve, you know, important roles, but guide dog goes about it very differently, right? And I love what you said about this is at, you know, at the heart of what news ought to be. That we hold a special role in society. It's baked into the Constitution, and we have the ability to. And this is a remarkable thing, to convene, and you know, we can bring groups together and we can listen to them. And I, you know, I hope that. Well, I think there's really an opportunity there for any of the stories that you reported on, to have, let's say, brought a group of citizens together to have had a discussion after a screening of your show. I mean, that's something that we can do that very few institutions in society can do. Um, and I'm a big believer in audience engagement and getting out there and using that superpower that we have to bring people together and spending our time listening to what they have to say. Yeah, this was really good, guys.
Thank you, Michael.
It was a joy to watch.
I think so too, and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I want a shout out to Sarah. You did handle the glitch beautifully.
Yeah, lots of here.
Not easy to do.
Yeah, and this is their second to last show. Wednesday is their last show, so
Okay.
they're coming up with something innovative again as a farewell show.
Sure.
So, yeah, they're
Yeah.
innovating
Well,
till the very end.
It shows that you love what you're doing. It absolutely shines through. And as always, it was an honor to be with you and to see the remarkable work being done at Grady.
And an honor to have you watch our show, take time from your busy schedule, and we really, really appreciate all the kind words and encouragement. Any final thoughts, guys? Yes, producer Juliana.
Hi, Michael. Thank you for being with us. It was really nice to hear from you, and thanks for your attention in the show. I just wanted to say, like, this was such a group effort. Every single person in this room put in so much hard work to get this show together, and so I think everyone should be giving themselves a round of applause right now.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right. Well said.
Thank you, Michael, and good luck to you with your incredible
Celebrate,
work.
everybody.
Bye. All right, guys. So proud of you. Oh, hello. So really proud of you, and you should be proud of yourselves and feel really, really, really good about what you did and what you've done this semester. So we'll celebrate on Wednesday. And just stay a little bit longer. We'll start at 5:30. I ordered the pizza for 5:30. So once after, the show is over, we'll chat, we'll reminisce, we'll have a piece of pizza, and yeah. And that would be the last time we're together like this. And it is goodbye. And then I'll see you individually. Look forward to that. But don't forget to send me your reflections and your reels if you want me to look at your portfolio, give you some ideas, anything I can do to help you get jobs because you deserve them. And yeah, thank you so very much.
Woo,
and,